Welcome to Dragonfly Trading. My name is Carrie, and I'm a full-time Elliott Wave trader in the crypto and Forex markets. Today's video is going to be an update on Bitcoin. I don't have time to do ETH, but I'm going to do an in-depth analysis on ETH tomorrow. So if there is an alt request that you would like me to do tomorrow, put it in the comments. Soon, I'm going to be going live on Tuesdays. It's going to be called Dragonfly's Tuesday TA. Very happy about it. And that will be the new day for lives and requests for altcoins. Okay. So remember, this is not financial advice. This is just the way that I see the market. If you are interested in becoming part of our Discord, where I teach my entire system right now, and you will be grandfathered into my online course that will be coming out, the link is in the description below. All right, so let's get started. So a lot of this I have talked about before, but I thought that it was a good time to take a look at the big picture again and go over the big picture and what we have available to us. So we're going to start out with the really only mega bullish scenario that we have on the table. And that is that we have a 5-wave move to the upside here. We would assume that this 5-wave move is the start of something. A 5-wave move is always the start or the end of something, and in this case, we would consider it the start of something. If that is the case, this would be considered a wave 1. If this is a wave 1, we are looking at a massive 5th wave coming, because that is a big wave 1. Take a look right here. This was a wave 1 that led to all of this third. If this is a wave 1 of the 5th, you can pretty much guarantee that we are going to get overextended and it's going to be big. Okay? Everyone knows that has been following me for a while that I don't particularly like the way that this 5 wave is considered. I don't like this wave 1, but there is a way that I can finagle it to happen down here. So this possibility is still on the table. It does not become invalid completely until we break this red line at 28,881 approximately. It's this low right here. Okay? On the table until we break it. We can truck sideways here and we can still call it a wave 2, even though there is some time factors in there, but it's not completely invalid until we cross the red line. Okay? And it would mean that this is 1, we're creating a 2, and we're going to blast off for 3 to the moon. All right? That count is still on the table. Let's talk about the next scenario that we haven't talked about for a while. Triangle. Triangle is still on the table. This would be considered what we call a running triangle because the B broke the top of the A. It actually goes into the expanded B pocket. So it would be 3 to the downside, 3 to the upside. Now what we would need to do here is complete this C wave. When you pull a fib extension on this, we haven't quite hit target. So we need to come on down and come down to approximately 37,300 to complete this C. We would come up in 3 waves for D. E does not necessarily have to hit the trend line, but it does have to be 3 waves. Now, can these get a little moved and, finagled a little bit here? Yes, they can. We can actually even pull this trend line down a little bit if this C comes down to the 1-to-1, but it absolutely cannot take out this A. And I actually would rather see it hold the 618. That's a better looking triangle to me. So triangle is still on the table. And we haven't talked about it in a while. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to talk about if we're making a correction that's coming from over here, where we've made 3 to the downside, 3 to the upside, and now it's to be determined what type of leg we are making to the downside. But let's talk about this. When we pull a fib extension, which is in white here, from this pivot to this pivot to this pivot, you can see the white fib extensions. This leg coming down, when you pull a fib extension from this pivot to this pivot to this pivot, the 618s are not lining up. They're not overlapping. So it wouldn't make much sense for us to end here because it's not lining up with the overall correction. But it would make sense for us to end here because the white 1-to-1 and the yellow 1-to-1 are overlapping at 30,500. It would make sense for us to end here at 24,700 because these are very close and overlapping. So when you pull these fib extensions, these are the two spots that are overlapping. Even this one is close enough that you could call that an overlap. But after that, nothing's overlapping. So if we are doing this type of correction, which this would be an expanded flat if we broke the A, and if we were able to hold the 1-to-1, it would be called a running flat. Okay? So that correction, whether we make 3 waves to the downside or we make 5 waves to the downside, is still on the table. Let's talk about the leg coming down and the different ways we can get down there to those targets. Okay, the first way, and we'll go ahead and talk about this white count because it's the ugliest one. It would mean that we are going to turn this move into a 5-wave move and it's going to become 1. We will get a rally for 2, but then it will get bearish and will come down for 3, 4, 5. Now we really want to hold, if this is the case, this last support because we do not want to come into our wave 1 here. If this is still going to hold true for a 4, 4 is not allowed to come into 1, so we want to stay out of the top of this 2019 run, which is sitting at 14,000. And I think we have a very good chance of doing that. So that is the first count, that we get very bearish, but we still hold this correction as an expanded flat. Now, one thing, and I talk about this every time, no matter which correction we make here, the only way to get out of this and back on a bull run is with a 5-wave move. We have to have a 5-wave move out of here. And an impulsive 5-wave move, meaning that all things must come true here. Meaning our 2 doesn't break our 1, Our 3 is not the shortest. Our 4 doesn't come into our 1. Our 3 hits a 1.618 and we get a fifth, okay? We need an impulsive wave out of here. It doesn't matter if it's on this correction or it happens on this one or it happens on this one. That is what we need to be able to turn this market around and come out of here. Okay, I'm going to take this one off. Let's talk about blue. Blue would mean a few things. Really, actually, blue wouldn't mean a few things. Blue would mean that we are making a zigzag, basically. That this is going to turn into a 3-wave move, that we're not going to get this little relief rally, and that we're just going to keep coming down, and that we're going to end up making a zigzag type correction. Okay, this is definitely on the table where we don't get this rally, but we're going to talk about this. Okay, what it would mean is we just roll over here and keep coming down, making a 5-wave move. Take that one off. Actually, I need to correct myself on this. And I'm not even going to edit this out. It's not that important to edit out. Blue is not a zigzag. Blue would be a 3, a 3 to the upside, and then we would make 3 to the downside. So blue would be a WXY. Okay, need to correct that. Because we can't make 5 waves out of just this right here. It doesn't hit a deep enough extension. So we would consider this a zigzag, 3-wave move up for X, and then we would get a zigzag for Y. Okay, that is blue. Now the last one we have here is where we get a little relief rally in the middle here. I'm going to get in a little closer. Now, I'm going to move this leg off to the side. Now what it means is we created a 3-wave move to the downside. And what it also means is that we have 3 to the upside. We need 3 to the downside. We need to pretty much hold where we are. We're going to talk about it some more. And then we're going to get a relief rally to the upside that could either be bearish and make a running flat and hit resistance here. And then here comes partner leg. Or it can bust through here and create a bigger relief rally. The bigger the relief rally, the better. Because it means that this partner leg can potentially hold the 1-to-1 that I talked about, and it will be higher for us. All right. It would be considered a 3, and then we could get 5 or 3 to the downside, depending on how high this leg comes to the upside. Will determine whether we get 3 or 5. Okay, so now let's talk about, can this happen and how does it have to happen? Okay, here is yellow leg. All right, now I've talked about this in prior videos. We're going to talk about it again because it's still on the table. When you pull a fib extension on this first move, and you're trying to call this a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and we could roll over for 5. That is on the table. If we do that, we're going to invalidate the chances of getting this relief rally. This is what we call the expanded B pocket. Hitting the 1.618 and going through it is invalidation for this being a B wave. So if we roll over here, we're going to come down to the 2.236 and invalidate it and turn this move into a 5-wave move. And at that point, we will complete the zigzag and we'll have to see what happens. If we can hold where we're at now, or even we could come down a little bit more, we could rally. But like I said, it could be bearish or we could get a bigger rally. But we absolutely cannot come through this 1.618. So basically, not financial advice, but you can see where the stop loss would go for this potential move. Okay. Now let's dig in a little deeper and closer and talk about what needs to happen for us to get this move and not roll over. Now we have the potential that we have a leading diagonal here. Leading diagonals are in wave ones, okay, or which would mean we would get that big C wave to the upside, or they are in the entire A wave of a zigzag. So it's one or the other here. But if this is a leading diagonal, it means it's 5 waves, and what starts with 5 ends with 5. So it means that if it's true and it's a leading diagonal, we are definitely getting a C or the impulsive C wave. Now, invalidation for this is breaking this low. It cannot break that low. That's invalidation because a wave 2 and a B wave of a zigzag are not allowed to break the bottom. This correction that we're in right now can get very complex. It's on the weekend and it can do a lot of things right now. What we have so far is a flat correction, 3-wave move. We could turn this is so far a 3-wave move. We could make this X, come down for Y, then we could make another 3 waves to the upside, and then finally come down for 3 or 5, and then it's over. And I have this kind of extended out too far, but you get the picture here. Okay, it would be much closer. It wouldn't be that far out. But I'm showing you how it can turn into a much bigger move over the weekend and just truck us sideways all weekend. Or this is 3, this is 3, and we're going to come down in 3 or 5, and that could be the end of it, and then the market has a chance to go. But it has to go in 5 waves, not 3. If we get 3 to the upside, well, let me try that again. If we get 3 to the upside, okay, it means we're coming back down with another move that could be 3 or 5, and then we could just like I said, truck sideways all weekend. Okay? But this could get bigger. This could make it a three-wave move like this. And then it could come down like this. We have many, many options right here because we started in 3. So, yes, it could get very complex, or it could just give us a basic 3-wave to the downside and then go. But invalidation is right here. So let's talk about if it's not a leading diagonal. If it's not a leading diagonal, it means that it's corrective and it's created a WXY, which as you can see has hit the 1-to-1. But it's the same options here, guys. Okay? It means that this can be a 4th and that it's going to play around a little bit longer here. Maybe turn this into 3. Then we come down to 3, comes deep, and then we go up for 3. Okay? Plays around for a couple days, maybe not a couple days, but the weekend maybe. And then what it does is it completes this 5-wave move. And we break that expanded B and don't have the chance for that move to the upside. Okay? So I hope I explained this well. Hope it was clear. Hope it gave you some clarity of what's on the table for us here. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments. And I will see you tomorrow for an in-depth analysis on ETH. Have a wonderful day, everybody.